And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Words I Choose to Live By. Glad you all could join us for today's program. I'm Cyrus Webb. We're joined by Melissa Banks and Darius Ewing, and we'll be discussing a book you guys see there, Words I Choose to Live By. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it in the carousel on the Amazon Live side for you guys. Today, we're discussing week number 6, an interesting message for us. To that, though, Melissa, Darius, how you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing great, man.
Good, good. Mary Ellen is not going to be with us this week, but she will be back with us soon. So we definitely, I hope she is doing well. You will notice on the Amazon Live side of our program, though, all of our co-hosts are also authors, other than being great people. So you guys will be able to find their books actually in the carousel. We'll be highlighting them as we're going throughout today's broadcast. But as I mentioned, we are beginning discussion of my book, Word That Choose to Live By, week number 6. And the message is, keeping your eyes on the prize. And this is what it says. You may not have been born with 2020 vision, but this week, strive to focus squarely on the goals ahead. Do not be distracted. Remain focused until you get where you want to go. Not being born with 2020 vision is definitely something I can relate to. And so in glasses most of my life. But I think that the message here that I know for myself when I first wrote this was, don't let where you're starting out determine where you go. And that was a big thing for me in my life. I was fortunate to have people around me who were able to push me, even though they may not necessarily have believed what they told me as far as what I could do. They were there to encourage me that you could really do anything. So I grew up being told that. I didn't always believe it, but I grew up being told it. So that's kind of what has helped me, I think, along my own journey. But Darius, I want to ask you, how important is it to keep your eye on the prize, regardless of what it is you're trying to?
Oh man, my grandmother taught me one thing, and it resonated with me. And she's resting in Jesus. But she used to tell me, she said, "Baby, when you fall, make sure you don't fall on your face." I said, "Why is that, Granny?" She said, "Make sure you fall on your back, so you looking up, so you can go and get on up." She said, it's hard when you fall on your face because you think about the shame and you think about what your face looked like. I said, "Okay, Granny, I get it." So that pushed me to always put my best foot forward in whatever I was doing. I don't care if it was the Easter speech. If it was one line, it was gonna be the best line that I did and that I memorized, because my grandmother always she just pushed that. You know, if you're here and you're gonna do it, you might as well be the best at it.
Yeah.
You know, don't get involved with it. You know, and my grandparents used to say up in West Point, don't get involved with it if you're not gonna do your best at it. Get it. So, you know, that's been just the thing that's just been on my mind. So, you know, once me and you talked and was talking about a book, I was like, well, I'm in it now, 2 feet in. So hey, let's get it. Let's do it. It's gonna be the best that we can make it be. So in life, right, if we apply that, no, I'm here. I'm living, I'm breathing today. I'm alive at this moment. Make it the best day that it can be. Yeah. Make it the best, regardless of what people say, regardless of what people do. My note to self this morning, I mean, and you hit it like when you sent the message out. My note to self was, as long as you're alive and breathing, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good. You can make it if you're alive and breathing, no matter what. Nobody else can take that away from you. Nobody can take your life. Nobody can take your breath but the one that created you and gave it to you. And since he gave it to you this morning at this moment, use it and use it to the best of your ability.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. Great message there, Darius. And Darius's book, Note to Self, you guys will see it there in the carousel there on Amazon. We'll remind you of that a little bit later. So I want to ask you, I mean, the similar question. I mean, staying focused is not easy. We have a lot of things that are distracting for us, can be able to get us off track. Well, what helps you to keep your eyes on the prize?
When I think about focus, I think about we go through a lot of things in life, right? So sometimes when we let things distract us, not to say the things that distract us are not important. Sometimes they're very important because they're part of life. Things happen in life. So if you take your focus off of where you want to be and focus on what is happening at that moment, then you lose sight of your journey. In fact, if you focus so hard on what is happening now, it can stop you in your tracks. So many people have quit because of the current situation. So what I have learned, and it's a consistent lesson, is to focus on the goal, focus on the dream. If you think about football players, and I'm not a sports person, but this comes to mind today. When you, even in their losing, if they start focusing on the mistakes and the errors and the 10-point lead, if their focus becomes about that, they will not make up that time. They would not get the energy. They would not get the motivation to keep pushing. So I would say to anyone, when you're focusing on the goal, no matter what else is happening, the goal is in front of you and you keep moving toward that goal. And when you reach that one, you move toward the next one. You handle the distraction, because we're human. Sometimes we have stuff that happen. You know it's there, but it doesn't become your focus. One of the things as an event planner, we focus on solutions. We focus on what we want to achieve. The same thing with your dreams and your goals. If you're focusing on what you want to achieve, where you're trying to go, and not all the stuff, is the only way to keep going. Another thing is, if you focus on the stuff and the stuff is happening one after another one, and the successes are coming slower than the stuff, you get overwhelmed and you start thinking it's easier to quit because the stuff is too much. So focus on the goal and the dreams. And I practice that every single day, even if it's a difficult week, even if it's a difficult day. I continue to focus on where I want to be.
Love that, Melissa. Darius, I want to go back to you, the technology. I too am not a sports person, but I read a lot of books, so I guess that's kind of the same thing. But there is this whole thing, right, about not being defined by the fall. You brought this up, interestingly enough, when it came to what your family told you, your grandmother, I think you said, told you about the way you fall. Falling is inevitable. I fall a lot. One, because I'm clumsy, but two, because in life, things are going to happen to trip us up. Sometimes we trip ourselves up. How important has it been for you, Darius, not to be defined by the fall? Because I think what happens in life today is that so many people, we all struggle. Unfortunately, in the world we live in now, everything is caught on a camera phone or on social media, right? So we all kind of go through this thing. How important or necessary has it been for you not to be defined by that?
Number one, I have to be transparent with myself when I fall, knowing that what is the true reason for me falling. Number one, in transparency. The second thing in transparency is to stay in my own lane, whether I fall publicly or whether I fall internally. It's not my position to make sure, if somebody else is doing the same thing that I'm doing and they're not falling, it's not my position to look in their lane and focus on what they got going on.
Yeah.
Because, truth be told, their fall might come later on down the line.
Yeah.
I'd rather take my fall in the early stage. Kids, I think about my babies when they learn how to walk. They when you walk, they were stumbling and tripping, and they'll hit their knees. But then when they get to the point, they'll hit something and start propping up on the table to start standing up. And that's the point that you have to get to. You have to get to the point that when you fall, don't focus on staying there. You got to get up by any means necessary.
Yeah.
And that's the key. Getting up is the key. You're gonna fall. It's inevitable, like you said. Whether you're clumsy, whether you caused it, whether life caused it, you're gonna fall. But getting up is the main ingredient. You can't, the longer you lay there, it's like anything that stays still gets stagnant. It stinks. It gets stale. It gets old.
Right.
So you don't want to get stale. And then when you finally make up your mind 3 or 4 years later, you try to get up. Now arthritis done set in. Now everything else is going wrong with doing. I mean, I'm just being, and that's just physically, not even on the mental side of it. But you just done tore yourself down. Now you got to rebuild yourself all over again.
Yeah,
such a great point. Which you could have nipped in the bud. You could have just bam. Okay, now this is it. I'm down. Let me get up by any means necessary.
Yeah. It's a great point. It's a great point. Melissa, what about for you? I mean, you mentioned, of course, especially in your business as an event planner, of course, things are going to happen. Planning is important, but unfortunately, we can't plan everything. And there will be things that no matter how much we plan will not turn out right. How important has it been for you not to be defined by that? Because it is easy. I interview a lot of people. And one thing that always fascinated me, and I hear authors and recording artists both talk about this, they can do something and they have 100 comments. 99 of them can be all positive. But that one comment that's negative is the one that they then define their whole thing by, which is really fascinating to me. But how important has it been for you, Melissa, not to be defined by that one thing, by that mistake, or by that fall?
Well, that is so true because we can hear. And recently I went through something and I was celebrating a success, and someone that I trusted made a negative comment about that item. And all the success, and Cyrus, I talked to you about this, all of the success, all of the great compliments, they were there. But what I focused on was that one that wasn't great, that made me feel insecure, that made me, because that's what we do. We fall into that negative. And it was that one. And I just discovered that, you know what, everyone, although that person is someone I love and care about, but that person may not have been the person to talk to about that thing. And also we have to be really particular about who we talk to about what, because that one comment can switch your entire thought process. And once it gets in here, it takes work to change it. So one of the things I learned, one thing is you can love and respect someone, but that person may not be the person to talk to about some things. You have to know what to talk to someone about. Also, you have to know what to place in your spirit and your mind and your thoughts. That means control what goes in there, whether it's social media, whether it's family, whether it's your best buddy, whoever it is, you have to control what's going in there, because the challenge is staying focused. The stuff will keep going. It will keep going and it will distract you. Another thing I would like to say right here is sometimes the stuff that's distracting you, it's not all bad. It's not stuff that's negative. It's not stuff that's going to tear you down. It may be fun stuff, right? It may be stuff that will take you off your track because it's there, because it looks like it's what you should be doing right now.
Right.
One of my biggest challenges in my entire career, and maybe in life, is I used to catalog all of my thoughts. Everything that was wrong, everything that I didn't do well, I used to catalog those thoughts. Then I would look at other people and things were going great with them, so it seemed. So that would throw you off track. So there's so many things that could throw you off track. How I learned to deal with that is to focus on my journey. My journey, the vision that God gave me. Once I became clear in my purpose, it became easier. Not that the distractions are not there, but it became easier to get myself back on track when those distractions come. And you have to just get really good at it, because nobody lives in a bubble. Well, maybe Cyrus Webb lives in a bubble, but nobody lives in a bubble. So it's gonna come at you. So you have to get really good at controlling your focus and focusing on your dreams, visions, and goals, and getting to where you need to be, where you want to be. Determine what it looks like for you and get really good at turning things off, at changing the channel and focusing on you and your journey.
Yeah, so true. I don't live in a bubble. I just want to say that. I do accept and love what you were saying there, though. I do live in my own world, though, but not a bubble. but it's such a great point, and these are such great reminders. And I appreciate you guys being with us on the Amazon Live side. I see you guys over there. Also, is joining us on Facebook. I see you. Twitter. Hello to you, and YouTube. I appreciate you guys. You all are watching Words I Choose to Live By. Today, we're discussing week number 6 from my book. You guys see it here. Words I Choose to Live By. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it in the carousel on the Amazon Live side. Week number 6, the message is keeping your eyes on the prize. Today's show is being powered by BiteCool. That is the laptop that I'm using right now. If you guys are looking for a great laptop for streaming and for doing programs like this, if you're doing a lot of Zoom or conferencing, this is one of those things that is slim. It's easy to travel with. I love mine. I got mine last year. is right now it's $279 here on Amazon. You guys can see it, have it highlighted in the carousel. It does come with Windows 10, but it also has a free upgrade to Windows 11 as well. So make sure you guys do take a look at that if you're in the market for a new laptop. I also want to bring out that all of our books, mine, Darius, and Melissa's books, are not only available in print, but also in Kindle. And the Kindle is actually on sale right now for $59.99. So if you've been waiting to get a Kindle, I have over 300 books on mine. But it's not just good for your books. It's also good to be able to stream the internet. I watch YouTube a lot on mine. I have a lot of my other favorite apps that are on my tablet. So you can be able to use it just for other things as well. But if you are looking for one, as I mentioned, I have it highlighted in the carousel right now on the Amazon Live side. You guys can get one for $59.99. A really good deal, almost as cheap as it was during Black Friday, but a really good deal if you guys are looking for a Kindle. So we definitely want to go through and kind of talk to our audience then. Melissa, I'm going to bring you back up here because for some, this may be an issue, right? I mean, they may have a goal, but staying focused, keeping their eyes on the prize may be an issue. One of the things I mentioned here is to do not be distracted. What would you say to our audience about the importance of that, Melissa?
You have to dominate your distractions. That means you rule, you control what you let come into your space. You rule, and don't think that it just happens. It has to be intentional. You have to be on purpose to dominate your distraction. Your distraction may be your love for TV. If your distraction is your love for TV and you can't reach your goals and it gets you all taken off your focus, then you control what you watch on TV and how much TV time you have. You control it. Your focus has to be dominating your distractions. Where you want to be has to be your priority. And you have to be willing to make the adjustments. So often we just do what we've always done, right? We don't make changes when necessary. But changes have to happen in order for you to get to where you want to be. That means you have to realize your power. You have the power. It's not someone else's power to dominate your distractions. Make it something that you do. Have a routine. Your routine is to quote some affirmations. Your routine is to talk to someone that motivates you. Your routine may be to just listen to somebody, but whatever it is, it has to be active on your part. You have to say, I am getting to where I want to be, and I'm going to control my space. That invitation that you always say yes to that throws you off track every single time, it's time to say no to that distraction at that moment. Remember, distractions can be good. They can be enticing. They can be something you want to do, but you have to realize what your purpose is, what your priority is, and dominate all that stuff around you, including yourself. Sometimes you're your biggest enemy, right? Sometimes you're working on something and it gets hard. When things get hard and that journey gets hard and you're working toward that journey and you're not seeming like you're making any steps, you become your own distraction. So what you have to do is you have to understand that you control it all. It's in your hands. It's in here. So when you find yourself making excuses because it's hard that you're going to not work on that today, then you have to talk to yourself or whatever your thing is. Everybody's thing is different. But whatever your thing is, you have to tap into that thing to keep you on focus, keep your eye on the end game. Because at any point your eye gets on the distractions, you're going to quit. You're going to stop. The distractions win. That's like putting yourself in an environment that you know you don't need to be in there. Things are going on that you participate in, but you keep going every day. Right. But if you keep going every day, you're going to take on those experiences. You're going to start liking it, right? So you have to control that environment. Do what it takes to get you on track, to get you to where you want to be.
Love that. Great advice. Darius, same question for you. What would you say to our audience about the importance, Darius, of not being distracted and keeping their eyes on the prize?
Man, so I'm gonna piggyback off of what Melissa said because she kind of sort of tapped into something I already say to myself. She said, "Dominate your distractions." I love that. I'm gonna use that, Melissa. I always tell myself, disregard your distractions. Disregard them. You know how you go around and you disregard? I'm gonna be real fast. You know how we disregard people or we disregard certain things? We need to apply that same mental to distractions when we're on the path for purpose.
Yeah,
we got to, because a lot of times we'll let and to disregard is to pay no attention, to ignore. Now, when you're on a mission, your mental capacity has to be 100. It has to be there. I know with planning, Melissa's thinking capacity has to be 100. With the clients that Cyrus take on, his thinking capacity has to be 100. With speaking, motivational speaking and writing books, my thinking capacity has to be. So that means you don't have time for cloudiness.
Yeah.
And when you have cloudiness, you have allowed the cloudiness to come in. And it's twice as hard to push the cloudiness out.
Yeah.
You let the slide, you let the cloudiness and the doubt, and you didn't disregard nothing. And Melissa said it best. The distraction can be a positive distraction. It can be a great distraction. It can be great, but you don't have the time because the path that you're on has a time limit as you speak. Your path has a time limit. You know, God has things set in order that He has places that He wants you to get before you get to a certain. Your life is lined up once you take on the purpose. You don't have the time to take. Look, baby, let me finish my purpose first, then I get back to that. Or like Cyrus just have a cutoff. You know, I'm just not going to deal with it. That's it. I'm pressing the gas, moving forward.
Right.
But however you do it, like Melissa said, I love that you have to dominate and disregard distractions.
Love that. Great message. Well, we do not pass collection plates here on Cyrus Webb Presents or a Word That Used to Live By, but what you can do, if you've enjoyed the messages from Darius, Melissa, and myself today, you can head over to Amazon and get our books. My book, Words That Choose to Live By, is right now. You can get yours in paperback for $9.99, as well as a Kindle edition for $2.99. It's on sale right now. Have some great things coming up too for my first book, Power Your Life with the Positives, that I'll be sharing with you guys next week. But Darius, what about you? How can they stay connected with you and also get their copy of your book?
Man, stay connected with me through social media for right now. Darius Ewing on Facebook, Darius L. Ewing on Facebook, Mr. Ewing 1914 on Instagram, and D. Ewing 1914 on Twitter.
All right.
It's on Amazon. Type my name in, Darius Ewing.
There you go. And we have it highlighted right now on the carousel. You guys can get it there for $9.99. The reviews are already coming in. Also, Melissa Banks, the reviews for her book is coming in. But Melissa, how can they stay connected with you?
Well, it's easy to stay connected with us. You just go to themelissabanks.com and click the link to get your Dream by Design, the devotional, which is sold on Amazon. And that link will take you right there. This is a great way to dominate the distractions, the affirmations, in this book, the inspirations in this book will get you back on track when you start to get distracted. So the key is to dominate your distractions. We have so many things right there on that one link. You can find us on all of our platforms right there at themelissabanks.com.
Love that. Edie, thank you so much for joining us on the Facebook side. Edie says, love this. So she enjoyed today's message, as I'm sure all of you all did. It's a really important one for us to keep in mind. Again, everyone, it's week number 6 in my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Again, the message is keeping your eyes on the prize. And that really is the key for all of us. And Darius brought up a really good point earlier, and I want you guys to really think about what he said. It's not too late. You know, people will try an age limit on you or time limit on when you can do something, also where you have to live and all of that. As long as Darius says, as long as you're alive, you have an opportunity to do something great. It's up to you, though, to accept that and then to be able to use it. So that's what we encourage you all to be able to do. Again, thank you all for watching today's episode of Words I Choose to Live By. Darius, Melissa, thanks to the two of you. Another great show.
Thank you.
Yes,
and until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll see you back here next week. You all take care.